So this watch is called the Black Hole Tourbillon, and I don't know if you've noticed when we looked in some of the close-up footage, it does very much look like a kind of an epicenter, I don't know what all of the terminology is, probably should have looked it up, of a black hole. You know, everything is sort of going into the center, everything is drawing you into the center of the watch. And actually, if you look at the back of the movement, which we'll look at closely again in a second, it has that sort of similar pattern. Everything is spiraling in. It's also actually clear all the way through, which is quite cool, but this very much is playing into black holes. The center tourbillon being the sort of the eye of the storm, sucking everything into the center and also drawing your eyes into the center of the watch. Around that is a really beautiful ring that is actually made of carbon fiber, which has mixed in loom into that ring there. So not the one that sort of domes round, that one with a bit of green that goes around the inside. Although this is actually in lots of different colors, you can check out on the website. Check out the website anyway, I'll leave a link in the description. It helps me look as if I've actually done something to be given this thing for free. But yeah, there's lots of different colors. I think that either the black one or the kind of khaki green one is really nice. The other colors look a little bit babyish, a little bit toyish in my opinion, but obviously colors and whatnot are completely subjective.
One of the things that I thought was interesting is that there have been some reports that Peacock is actually manufacturing parts for Swiss-made tourbillon watches as well. And this is kind of a controversial issue when it comes to Swiss watches, which is why I think this report is still unsubstantiated. But Swiss-made label requirements do allow for parts to be manufactured outside of Switzerland. So it wouldn't really be that surprising if these reports were true, and if so, it really would speak to the quality of the movements that Peacock is producing. While the most basic Swiss tourbillon watches are going to start at around $10,000 and go way up from there, Peacock has produced a much more advanced tourbillon movement featuring a central tourbillon mechanism, while also incorporating 4 mainspring barrels to give it a full 5 days of power reserve. To get a movement like this from a Swiss manufacturer, you're probably looking at a watch that's going to cost you around $50,000 at the entry level, which makes Peacock's $3,500 asking price a pretty astounding bargain by comparison.
Moving on to the dial then, so this is in many ways the star of the show here. Really is a 3D multi-element dial. So it's got stepped inner rings, it's got an arch gantry over the tourbillon, that black bit there that kind of arches over it and holds the minute hand and allows it to rotate around. It's got a carbon fiber luminant mixed in ring there, and that's also interesting in itself because there are bits in there that do glow in the dark, although not very brightly. And the flange actually has radial lines going out, kind of emphasizing the black hole effect of this watch. And the main effect, of course, is the hole in the center, right? You can kind of see through it if you look directly front on, see through to the back. And that is, of course, the black hole motif of this particular watch. In terms of the hands, right, it's got a polished, I guess what you can call a halo and accretion disc minute hand, and that, of course, is taken from the appearance of a black hole. Probably made most famous in Interstellar, that movie, how there's a halo of light with an accretion disc that is glowing and hot, spinning around the black hole, and that's really how it kind of would look like. And this is what this minute hand actually calls back to. It's got a very small hour hand that's just a little tiny arrow, and that kind of has a black finishing to it. In terms of loom, the main minute hand is loomed, the hour hand has a bit of loom, and then the discs around the hole have a little bit of loom, including some debris-like structure in that carbon fiber disc, which make it look like, I guess what they call a bit of like a nebulous effect there. And a loom shot, of course, for you guys to see how this looks like in the dark. It doesn't have to glow very much for me. It glows a few hours in the night once it's charged.